Hey guys, I'm Lyret and welcome to part 4 of our Unreal Engine 4 lightsaber combat tutorial. In this part we will take care of the animation montages and make sure that when you are not moving, the animation is actually using root motion, and when you're actually moving we get the same effect that we get now. So just quick heads up, I'm recording this video at 1440p 60 FPS. I finally configured my hardware encoder for my CPU, so if there are any performance issues through this video or anything, I apologize. As far as I tested, it was really smooth. Everything was fine in terms of performance. But please let me know if there are any performance FPS drops or anything. So if it's uncomfortable for you, I'll just get back to 1080p. Anyway. Let me demonstrate the problem right now. So whenever we're moving, we can actually use our lightsaber. Our protagonist kinda looks to the side, which is awkward, and we'll take care of this later. But for now the issue is that we have these nice animations. Let me just go to our animation blueprint and show you a couple of those. It's loading, and here we go. So the animations that we are using right now are this one and I think this one. And again, please don't mind the reverse grip, I was testing it. So as you can see, these are nice animations. I don't think this one is used because it has the 180 degrees or 360 degrees rotation, which we're probably not using. But this animation, for example, I think that's the one that we're using. So as you can see, it has nice stepping, it has physique, it has motion, and you really feel that this animation kind of develops the momentum. So when the sword strikes, or lightsaber in our case, you would really feel the impact. Or rather, not the impact, but it will be believable that, you know, you're swinging this sword in front of you and it delivers a powerful blow. So in our case, when we're moving with our character here, especially when we're standing, this is kind of dissatisfactory because you kind of feel like if you are just swinging with your joint like this, if it's a sling, maybe it could do some damage, right? But if it's a sword, the body doesn't do any movement, lower body is not in sync with the motion, it's just idle. So this is not realistic, that's not what we want. So let's try to fix this. Okay, so if we go in our animation blueprint, we just, sorry for this vibration, that's my case. Okay, yeah, sorry for that. So we just blend per bone, as you remember from the previous tutorials. So what we really want to do is we want to say, okay, if this animation was, if this attack that we are actually playing right now via the slot, if this attack was performed when we're standing, we actually want to enable the root motion and use it. And then if this attack was done when we were moving, then we do the same that we did now. So first let's have a boolean here, and let's call it standing still attack, maybe something like this. And we will do blend by bool. Okay, so this one, this guy will be false. So if this is not a standing still attack, right, when we are moving, we want to do the same thing that we did before. This is fine. But when we are actually standing still, we want to use, I think we want to use just this. And by the way, I think one of the people in comments mentioned a nice thing that we can do here. So let me try to get this right. I think we can do cache like this, and let's just say default slot flow. And then here we could do default slot flow like this, And I think we could do here as well. And I believe this should work. Let's see. Okay, so for now, standing still attack is false because we didn't introduce any additional logic. So subsequently, when we play, it should be the same. Let's see. Yep, nothing changed. And we can see pretty much that our cache-in thing, which, by the way, I'm really grateful for the person that mentioned this in comments, because this is so much cleaner now here. We don't have to duplicate our animation nodes. Okay, so we will be using default slot exclusively when this is a standing still attack. So how do we deliver this boolean? Let's see. So let's go to our third person character once again. And here, of course, we have our animation logic. So turn the lightsaber on, play the montage, switch on the attacking boolean, then let's see, let's get rid of these guys. So we just make it a bit more clean. So if the notify name is the attack, then we stop attacking and turn off the lightsaber after 3 seconds. Okay, this is just fine for now. Let's see, we have an error here. Let's get the lightsaber. Yeah. Okay. So where do we want to put our logic? Well, let's just have boolean here and let's duplicate it there. So when we started attacking, now it's time to determine whether we are moving during this we were moving when we started performing this attack or not, because if we were moving, then we put this boolean to true, so it's a moving attack, and false otherwise. Or do we do the opposite? Let's see. Standing still attack. Okay, so let's write a quick function here. Update attack state. Okay, so what does this guy do? It's really easy. Let's look here. So we're saving move forward axis value and move right axis values here. Okay, nice. So let's just get them. Move forward axis value and move right axis value. And so we need our boolean that we're updating here. Let's put him here. Is performing standing still attack. Kind of long name. Maybe doing is slightly shorter. So how do we set this guy? Well, it's a standing still attack if this guy is 0 and this guy is 0 as well, right? So he's not, there is no axis value for moving right left or forward back, right? So this guy is 0, this guy is 0, that's true, otherwise it's not a standing still attack. Save this guy. And now here we want to update this value all the time. So all the time, every time we attack basically. So we just call this function here. All right, so how do we use this boolean? Is doing standing still attack. That's really probably the easiest way to do it is this one. So let's set this guy from standing. Get is doing standing still attack. Just as simple as that. There are other solutions to this problem, of course. We could, if we go back to our character. By the way, Control Tab is a nice hotkey to see all the things you have opened. So we go to our third person character. But we could do here, we could just get our mesh, get animation instance. So animation instance is actually our animation blueprint. So now we if we're sure what kind of class it is, in our project we only have one animation blueprint. It's LCC animBP, so we can cast to it, make it, for example, pure cast if we're sure, like 100%. And then we could just say set standing still attack. This is also possible to do. We're doing it more like by the book way, so to speak. I'm not sure which way I would prefer. Well, in production we would use partially CPP for this solution anyway. But let's just keep this as we're going. Okay. So let's see, does our thing work? Okay, so if we're moving, it's all fine. Works just as we expect. Now, okay, when we're standing, well, nothing really happens. Okay, so why is nothing happens? Why is nothing happening? Sorry. Let's see, what do we have here in animation blueprint? So we use cached pose default slot flow, and this guy does this thing. Now here's the problem. I believe the default slot doesn't use this animation at all. So I mean, the opposite is true actually. So if we look at this animation, it uses upper body slot. It uses upper body slot. So we needed to do the opposite thing. But this pre-cached thing is really something that I like. So this is default slot flow. Let's do the other one. Cache, new save, cached pose, and let's call this guy upper body slot flow. So we take this guy, put him here. Keeping our guys tidy is always nice. And by the way, you can of course do this. Walk forward is this guy. That's just something that depends on your personal preference in the way how you are arranging your nodes in the code. Okay, so upper body slot flow. Upper body slot flow. Here we go. And also this guy is Ron. And he should be here. So let's see now. Same thing here when we stand. So you can see that we're getting the full animation, which is extremely nice. But you can also see that there is no root motion, right? So what's up with the root motion? Let me check something. Okay, so we can see that in the class settings here, we have ignore root motion. If we switch this to root motion from montages, let's save this guy. Okay, now we get exactly what we want here, as you can see. But the problem is that when we are moving, do you see what happens? The root motion will also work when we are moving, which is not what we want. So, you know, we're smart enough. We can figure this out. It's possible to do in animation blueprint, but I guess it will only be possible to do here with the tick thing. Well, it's kind of tick thing. It updates every frame, I guess. So let's do it here. It's kind of like convoluted code. I guess, okay, if we're doing it this way, we could, I mean, we need to cast and get the animation blueprint anyway. So, get anim instance. I showed you the by the books way. Now we will do more, I don't know, unorthodox way, I guess, because we need this guy. So set standing still attack. Same thing, and now we can just get rid of this guy at all. So now we're directly setting this value. So you would ask me, well, why did you change your mind? Well, the thing is that now, depending on this value, we will need to switch the way how we do root motion anyway. So we needed to get the animation instance and cast it to our animation blueprint anyway. So why not do both? Okay, so now that we have it, set root motion mode. So that's one of the things that I didn't know for a long time. I was struggling a lot with my animations in different projects that I was working on, particularly in one when there was a lot of like sorry, animation blending and everything with the different attacks and so on. So when I found out that you can change the root motion mode in the runtime, I was like really happy about it. So you could do branch here and say, okay, if it's true, set it to whatever, it's false, set it to whatever else. But there is more, I don't know, tidy way. Select. I love select personally, and select takes wildcard for its index, so we can just say, okay, depending on standing still attack value, we can choose our enum. That's basically like switch, but it doesn't have the execution node here. So when we're not standing still, we want no root motion, right? When we are standing still, we want to have root motion for montages. Now keep in mind, this will change the value, and the value will stay in its changed state after the attack is finished, right? So keep in mind that if you put more functionality here, like, I don't know, some flips, rolls, or whatever else, this will affect root motion, and you need to make sure that after the animation is finished, the attack animation is finished, you're still managing the proper root motion state. Okay, so let's see how it works now. Oh, yeah, right. So now we're not doing this because this is done for ourselves. Okay, so we can kind of see that root motion is not working when we're moving, which is fine. Now look at this. We do have our root motion up and running for us. And if we change the next attack, we can start moving. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 is suddenly in the motion. Okay, so basically in this setup we kind of figured out how do we do separate treatment for root motion for two scenarios when we're moving, when we're standing still, and this provides something more of a kind of cinematic, I would say, experience. This is closer to something that you see in good animation quality AAA titles like, I don't know, Prince of Persia in old days. Now it's Assassin's Creed, maybe Dark Souls, other games when you have where you have sword combat. But what we have, and what most of them don't have, is of course attacking on the movement, or attacking when you're moving at the same time. So you might have noticed that we have these kind of like animations which are not chaining at all. This is not nice. So the next thing we will do in next tutorial, we will chain these animations and make some kind of animation sequences. Sorry, not animation sequences. Combos, maybe like different combos. Maybe we'll do like a heavy attack, something like this. But and I'll show a general workflow how to manage it in blueprints. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, all this stuff, and see you next video. Bye bye.